She did that on her own. Show me royals who have this kind of photo. What? See, the thing is, Meghan, if you need to Photoshop pictures, but then you get mad at your haters because we're calling out your Photoshopped pictures.
She couldn't force people to write the stories that she wanted them to write. So therefore, she left to get privacy so that she could write the stories in her own.
January 2026 just exploded with absolute pandemonium across the internet because completely fresh yacht photographs emerged that Meghan Markle supposedly thought were erased forever from existence. These aren't the same exhausted images people have battled over for years on end, not reused screenshots or grainy copies. This is brand new material, never-before-seen photographs that abruptly appeared and launched the internet into total chaos mode. What makes this strike even harder is what these photographs seem to reveal. Meghan captured in exclusive, ultra-private environments that she has never publicly acknowledged or provided explanations for. And now, individuals connected to Middle Eastern high society networks are speaking up louder than ever before, claiming these images align perfectly with what they've quietly understood for years about her pre-royal networking days. According to multiple sources connected to Gulf region elite networks, Meghan wasn't simply dropping by random social gatherings. They suggest she was deliberately cultivating relationships in Monaco and throughout the Mediterranean region, operating in environments typically reserved for serious wealth and genuine power. These weren't casual getaways, and these weren't public parties that anybody could crash. The leaked photographs seem to display Meghan at exclusive yacht gatherings alongside extremely powerful figures from Saudi Arabia and other affluent nations. These scenes strongly indicate strategic networking, not random chance, and definitely not something that can be easily dismissed.
I knew that you wanted to go back to LA and that Canada was always going to be a pit stop. From the very beginning, this woman orchestrated leaving the royal family because all she's ever wanted in her life was to be an A-lister in Hollywood. She did not have the talent to become an A-lister in Hollywood. She was relegated to a D-list actress spot on a show called Suits that nobody in America had seen, but apparently which Prince Harry liked.
And what's absolutely wild is how silent these connections have stayed in public discourse until right now. The timing of this leak is what has people raising serious eyebrows absolutely everywhere. Meghan is currently pushing a polished rebrand through Netflix productions and lifestyle ventures, and suddenly this material resurfaces out of nowhere. Someone clearly wants these past connections thrust back into the spotlight. Someone wants to challenge the carefully crafted image that's being marketed right now. The massive question lighting up comment sections everywhere is straightforward but explosive. Who leaked these images, and what else might still be concealed in the shadows? Because if this much surfaced all at once, people genuinely believe there's way more waiting in the wings. As soon as the photographs hit social platforms, things spiraled out of control fast. These were definitely not the old yacht debates people dismissed years ago. These came from private collections quietly stored until someone decided to hit upload. And once they did, there was absolutely no stopping the flood. The images display Meghan in Monaco and across Mediterranean luxury destinations during her pre-royal years, surrounded by extreme opulence. Private yachts, designer outfits, champagne flowing on decks worth tens of millions, faces in the background that international business observers instantly recognize. Within hours, social media went absolutely nuclear. Fresh hashtags shot straight to the top. TikTok creators launched frame-by-frame analysis breakdowns, and Twitter users started connecting dots at lightning speed.
Meghan Markle, I think she was 35 or 30 when she came into the royal family. She'd had a life, she was an actress, she'd been married before, so she was pretty much clued up. And I think what's happened is she's come into the royal family and this archaic system has tried to control her and say, you will do this, you will do that, you will not go here, you.
The photos spread like wildfire because they expose a side of her story that's rarely confronted directly. What distinguishes these images from past debates is absolute clarity. These aren't blurry assumptions or shadowy figures people argue over endlessly. These photos clearly display Meghan in environments she's never publicly discussed, raising extremely specific questions about access, lifestyle, and influence. People aren't asking vague questions anymore whatsoever. They're demanding to know how a struggling actress operated in circles like this, who unlocked those doors, and why these connections remained quiet for so many years. And now, sources tied to elite international networks claim these photos match exactly what they've been stating for years. According to them, Meghan wasn't simply attending yacht events for entertainment. They suggest she was part of an established networking circuit, one that revolved around power, proximity, and strategic positioning at the absolute highest level. This is the kind of world where powerful connections get built quietly, between international heavyweights and people who understand how to maneuver smartly inside elite environments. One source who has operated in these environments described it extremely clearly. These networks are about relationship cultivation, being polished company at high-end events, traveling to locked-down locations, and maintaining absolute discretion about who you meet and why. This isn't casual socializing whatsoever. It's top-tier strategic networking. And during Meghan's struggling actress phase, she fits that profile almost perfectly. Unknown, ambitious, and suddenly appearing in ultra-exclusive international circles that were way beyond her reported income bracket.
The thing is, there have been lots of scandals which have never come out, I'm told, and the palace have been able to shut them down. So I think the belief is that they can shut these scandals down, and it's only when the scandals emerge that they have to put Plan B into practice. So, and I think if that's the case, then that could be very damaging if that's their.
That kind of access doesn't just magically fall into someone's lap out of nowhere. People inside those circles say introductions like that are always deliberately facilitated. Someone opens the door, someone vouches for you, and someone decides you're valuable inside that space. That's how it operates. And insiders say Meghan didn't arrive there by accident whatsoever. Here's the part mainstream outlets aren't touching at all. Sources now claim these newly leaked yacht photos didn't come from outsiders or random fans online. They allegedly came from someone inside those elite circles. Someone with direct access, documentation, and first-hand knowledge of who Meghan was networking with and how those connections were strategically formed. And if that's genuinely true, it changes absolutely everything. Because if one person inside those circles decided to leak photos, people are demanding to know what else they might be holding back. What other records, images, or details exist about how Meghan actually constructed her path toward power and influence? What's being quietly discussed in elite international spaces is far more specific than public rumors floating around. These photos place Meghan at private events where Saudi and Gulf state figures were present, at the exact same locations, at the exact same gatherings, not random overlap, not coincidence whatsoever. The same yachts, the same private events.
And her father was giving her money and car, and helping her get auditions. And I mean, what do you think? I mean, does it really just the money, or do you think it's fame?
Well, I mean, it's both, because if you think about it, you're not making that much on Deal or No Deal, right? But it was a national television show. It was on NBC. It was a network. You're there.
And the same facilitators known for arranging exclusive introductions between global power players. Think about how locked down those environments actually are. You don't just wander into private yacht gatherings with international royalty and billionaires casually. You get selected, you get invited because someone vouched for you and decided you were worth bringing into that network for very specific reasons. That's how these circles protect themselves and control access tightly. What stands out in the photos now circulating online is how comfortable Meghan appears in those settings. Not awkward, not out of place, not like someone who got lucky once. She looks like someone who understood the rules, the expectations, and the value exchange happening in that world. Sources are now speaking more openly and saying that during Meghan's yacht years, she built ongoing networking relationships with figures connected to Saudi and Gulf state elite circles. Not just quick introductions, but continued contact involving travel, private events, and strict discretion about those ties. That detail matters more than people realize, because ongoing relationships suggest planning, consistency, and trust inside those networks. Now look closely at what these new images actually display. Photos dated between 2008 and 2012, right in the middle of Meghan's struggling actress years, a time when she was reportedly barely making enough to stay afloat in Los Angeles financially. Yet these images place her on luxury yachts in Monaco and the Mediterranean.
This is really bad security. This is all in a desperate bid for headlines and for Harry to say, oh, see, we need security even in the U.S. This is disgusting and they should be investigated.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's incredible how desperate Meghan Markle is to be compared to Princess Diana in a desperate bid to chase headlines.
Locations known for hosting international billionaires and power brokers, especially in 2010 when new photos show her attending yacht events during the same period. Saudi and Gulf state figures were frequently present at these gatherings. Same Monaco settings, same elite locations, same closed circles, same facilitators long associated with connecting global business networks. And that alignment is exactly why these images have people asking questions that refuse to go away. Then comes 2011, and suddenly Meghan lands Suits. And here's where people really start side-eyeing the story hard. It didn't come through the usual Hollywood grind, not the standard auditions and casting pipelines everyone else fights through endlessly. Industry insiders have long stated the connections behind that role were never fully explained to anyone. And now these new photos are making that gap look significantly louder. Because what do the images suggest? Years of quiet, intentional networking with people who had influence, people who could make calls, open doors, and shift opportunities behind the scenes. That kind of career jump doesn't happen in a vacuum. Fast forward to 2016, when Meghan meets Harry through Marcus Anderson in Soho House, and suddenly the timeline clicks perfectly into place. By then, she had already spent nearly a decade moving inside elite circles. She wasn't new to power spaces whatsoever. She already knew how to navigate influence, how to present herself as someone valuable, and how to build relationships that mattered strategically. This wasn't luck. This was practice and preparation. And the newly leaked photos make one thing extremely clear.
I think she was scared of coming back to this country, and quite rightly, because the people of this country don't like the fact that she's stolen our prince. And she's literally brainwashed him, blinkered him, and tied him down to his California man.
She wasn't just showing up to random parties for entertainment. There's a visible pattern. Multiple yachts over multiple years with the same type of high-level international figures appearing again and again. That's not coincidence whatsoever. That's consistency. And consistency like that points to strategy, not random chance. Now here's the part people aren't saying out loud enough. These photos didn't leak by accident at all. Someone waited for the exact right moment. Right when Meghan is pushing a rebrand. Right when lifestyle products and Netflix projects are rolling out. Right when she needs her past to stay quiet. Whoever dropped these images wanted maximum impact. They waited until Meghan likely believed her yacht networking years were too far behind her, until she assumed there was no proof left, no fresh material, nothing concrete that could resurface to haunt her. Then boom, brand new photos nobody had seen before suddenly hit the internet, and that timing sends a message all on its own. Because this doesn't feel random whatsoever. It feels strategic, like warning shots, like someone saying, "We know more than you think," without saying a word. That strongly suggests someone from inside those elite international circles got tired of Meghan's version of events, tired of watching history get reshaped when they know exactly how those connections were built. Maybe it's someone she upset along the way. Maybe it's someone protecting influential families from being dragged into controversy. Maybe it's someone who believes facts matter more than a carefully polished image. Whatever the motive, this looks deliberately planned.
Meghan is a trained actress. What she does is that she studies people. She's not a good actress, but she is a trained one, right? She's been doing it her entire life. And there is no doubt that she studied Princess Diana. She studied her mannerisms towards Harry when he was a boy and the way that she grabs her face. And this is the psychopathic elements of what she does, putting a pregnancy text next to Princess Diana's hair, saying that she put her hands on the grave to have a conversation with her, bursting in.
If fresh yacht photos are leaking now in January 2026, long after Meghan left that world, then someone has been playing the long game. Someone held onto evidence, waited patiently, and picked the moment when it would matter most. Here's the hard reality these images create for her. Meghan spent years keeping her yacht networking history quiet. She avoided that chapter, brushed off questions, and framed criticism as baseless attacks from people who disliked her. But leaked photos from private collections changed that narrative completely. These images place her exactly where sources said she was, doing exactly what they described. That's not rumor, that's documentation. And Meghan's response so far? Total silence. No explanations, no context, no statements from her team addressing what the photos actually show. Just quiet. While the images spread across every major platform, and that silence speaks volumes. It suggests she's hoping the storm passes, hoping people stop asking questions, hoping the photos fade away without her ever having to explain how a struggling actress lived that lifestyle and built those connections. If these newly leaked photos showed something harmless or easily explained, Meghan's team would already be out front giving context. They would be saying, here's the real story, here's who invited her, or here's why this was completely normal professional networking. But instead, there's nothing. Total radio silence, and that silence is loud. That quiet tells people one thing. These new yacht photos raise questions Meghan does not want to answer publicly.
You know, I like to think that Meghan would like that. Meghan likes to be number one. Meghan does not simply degrade Prince Harry. She degrades his entire family, his entire legacy. And this is a different kind of embarrassment. She has mocked his heritage, his traditions, his grandmother, the former Queen of England, and it seems like she did so.
Questions about networking strategies she has never openly acknowledged or explained to anyone. Let's slow down and look at what's actually in front of us. Brand new yacht photos surfacing in January 2026, showing Meghan networking with international elite circles during her struggling actress years. That alone raises serious curiosity. First major question: who was funding this lifestyle? Cable TV actresses don't casually afford Mediterranean yacht events with global power figures. Someone paid for travel, access, and presence at these exclusive gatherings. So who covered the costs, and what was the arrangement? Second question: how did she gain access? You don't just walk into private elite gatherings with international figures. Someone facilitated those introductions. Someone vouched for her and positioned her as worth bringing into those spaces. So, who made that call? Third question: what exactly did these networking relationships involve? The photos show private yachts, small closed-off gatherings, and ultra-exclusive environments. This wasn't casual mingling at public events. This was close, professional-level networking with influential people. How deep did those relationships actually go? Fourth question: how did this networking connect to her career rise? She goes from a struggling actress to landing Suits. Then later meets Prince Harry through Soho House connections, all after years moving in elite international circles. Who opened those doors, and how much influence came from those earlier relationships? And then comes the fifth question that has everyone talking nonstop. Who is leaking these photos now, and why? These images stayed private for over a decade. Suddenly they're everywhere in January 2026. That doesn't happen by accident. Someone made a decision to expose this chapter of her past on purpose. These aren't wild theories. These are real questions sparked by real evidence that just surfaced. And Meghan's silence only keeps those questions alive and growing. Now let's talk about why the timing of these leaks matters so much. Meghan is in the middle of a major rebrand. Netflix projects, lifestyle products, a push to move past royal drama and present herself as authentic, relatable, and inspiring. Then suddenly, boom! Fresh evidence drops showing her yacht networking history with international elite figures, evidence of building relationships with extreme wealth and influence. Evidence of a strategic networking path she has never publicly discussed, and people are asking how that fits. How does that line up with the authentic image being sold? How does it match the relatable story meant to connect with everyday women? How does it fit with the narrative of success built purely on hard work and talent? Because the new photos challenge that story hard. They suggest her rise wasn't just about determination alone. They point to strategic networking inside elite international circles during her yacht years. Now, to be fair, networking itself isn't wrong. That's how many industries work, but it directly contradicts the self-made narrative she's been presenting. The story of having no advantages, no access, no help from anyone. And here's the part that makes this situation even tougher for her. These leaks prove people have been holding on to evidence for years, waiting, watching, picking the exact moment when it would hit hardest. That means Meghan's narrative has always been fragile, always one leak away from being challenged. And as long as new evidence keeps surfacing, she can't fully control the story. Because every new photo shows a piece of history she chose not to discuss openly. And once those images are out, they don't disappear. Now here's why the international angle in these new photos really stands out. Elite circles tied to Middle Eastern royalty and Gulf state power players treat discretion like absolute law. What happens on those yachts stays quiet, always. That's the unspoken rule, and everyone inside those circles understands it. So if brand new photos are leaking now, showing Meghan connected to those spaces, something clearly changed. If sources are suddenly talking more openly about her networking history with international elite figures, the usual protection is gone. And that alone raises eyebrows everywhere. That shift suggests something broke the silence. Maybe it's her public storytelling clashing with details they know privately. Maybe it's ongoing family controversies while her own past stays untouched. Or maybe she simply became too visible, too polarizing, and too risky to quietly shield anymore. Whatever the reason, if international insiders are letting these yacht photos surface, and if they're allowing conversations that were once off limits, Meghan has clearly lost a layer of protection that kept this chapter sealed for years. And that's a serious problem for her, because once discretion is off, there's no putting it back on. If people inside those circles stop staying quiet, what else comes out? What other photos exist? What records are sitting in private folders right now? Here's what many insiders believe happens next. These yacht photo leaks might only be the opening move. Whoever decided to share her networking history likely has more. They could be testing reactions, watching how the public responds, and deciding what to release next. That could mean more photos, travel details, event invitations, and proof of facilitated introductions. It could even mean first-hand accounts from people who were present and watched how those elite networking strategies worked in real time. Meghan's options right now are extremely tight. She can stay silent and let questions stack higher every day. Or she can speak up and invite deeper scrutiny into details she's never discussed publicly. Either choice brings pressure. Either way, the narrative gets messier. Her rebrand faces real friction. These yacht photos directly challenge the story she's been presenting, and they test her credibility on transparency. Fresh evidence shows there's a whole networking chapter she hasn't openly addressed, and now her image is being examined from angles she can't fully manage or control. The biggest question left is simple but heavy. Does more evidence come out, or does this stop here? Because these leaked yacht photos already cracked a door. Meghan likely wanted sealed shut forever. Brand new images pulled from private collections dropped in January 2026 by someone who clearly knows the full story, someone who's done protecting silence. Someone ready to show what her yacht networking years with international elite figures actually looked like. And her response so far? Still silent. No context, no explanations. Just hoping the questions fade while the evidence keeps spreading. That doesn't look like confidence. That looks like someone waiting it out instead of clearing it up. Man, if you watch this and have thoughts, drop them in the comments below. If this breakdown made you see things differently, hit subscribe and stay locked in for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see it.